Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. Hi and welcome back. First of all, got to wish you all a very happy new year. This is the first day of 2019 and I hope that everybody this year is in good health, wealth, prosperity and you just have a fantastic year. Now, will Arsenal have a fantastic year? It hasn't been a great ending to the year. Thrashed 5-1 by Liverpool, drawing with Brighton, and we're really sort of slipping up over recent games in the month of December. And January is a chance to try and get back on track by possibly bringing in a couple of good transfers. Now, the first question I've got to ask is the owner of Arsenal Football Club interested in making this club a great club again? You know, I sound like Donald Trump. I said that last night. Make America great again. Make Arsenal great again. Is he interested? This is when we start to find out. He's got a good recruitment team in Sam Mislintat, Sanelli, these guys. But is he willing to give them and Unai Emery the funds to rebuild this team? If you look at a team like Liverpool, who we played at the weekend, you can see that it's taken them a couple of years to build that team. But they have gone out and in certain areas they have spent big. Now, I don't think anybody's expecting us to probably go massively big in January. And the reports coming out of Arsenal is that they're not going to spend big money in this month. It could be loan moves, it could be bargain deals they're looking at. But definitely, you can see with this team needs a lot of money spent on it to get it back to that standard where they're challenging for the league. And that's what every Arsenal fan wants to see. Also, what are we going to be doing about a couple of our star players? Aaron Ramsey, what is happening with him? Will he be leaving in January or will he be leaving at the end of the season? Now, he's been linked with lots of moves. Of course, his contract is up at the end of the season. Another sort of knock-on from the Arsene Wenger days where we didn't secure this guy with a contract. And now he can walk away for nothing at the end of the season, or he can sit down with a club and he can do a deal to go anywhere he wants in Europe right now in January. And he said that he's talking to Juventus at the moment, along with a host of other clubs like PSG, etc. But Juventus seem to be in the driving seat. They've already apparently offered him a contract said to be worth about £138,000 a week to join Juventus. And when I look at those amounts, I just say to myself, wouldn't it have been better for us maybe to have just signed Ramsey on? He's been at a club for 11 seasons. He knows what Arsenal are all about. But it does look like Unai Emery wants to move on from Ramsey. So it does look like Ramsey will be on his way out. But will he go January or will he go at the end of the season? For me, I'd sell him right now. Try and get some money for him and use that money to reinvest. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with Aaron Ramsey this month. Mesut Ozil, what is happening with this guy? Our top earner at the club, but when we've got certain games, he's been left out for tactical reasons and stuff like that. I just don't get it. Chelsea don't leave out Hazard. United, apart from when Mourinho was there, don't leave out Pogba. You don't leave your star guys out. Why is he being left out? If Unai Emery doesn't fancy him, surely he should move him on as well. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that one. The word is that Mesut Ozil does not want to leave. There's been lots of rumours linking him with a loan move out of Arsenal. But the rumours are that Ozil said he does not want to leave Arsenal. He wants to stay and fight for his place. That's a positive thing, I suppose. Or maybe it could be that nobody's going to be willing to pay that sort of money and those sort of wages apart from clubs in China or possibly Turkey. And there's nowhere else really for him to go at the moment. But it does look like Ozil will remain an Arsenal player this month. Actually, I want to do a poll. If you had the choice of selling one of these two players, we know Ramsey's probably going to go, but it's a bit hypothetical. Ramsey or Ozil, which one would you sell? If you had a choice, you had to get rid of only one, which one of those would you sell? I'd like to ask you in a poll. Now, we've been linked with Ever Banega, midfield player for Sevilla, a player that Unai Emery knows very, very well, performed for him very well over the years. He's very close to. He's said to have a release clause of around £18 million at Sevilla. He's getting into, he's 30 years old now. but Arsenal said to be really, really interested in bringing him in. However, the talk is that Banega is apparently a real close family guy, is really a bit reluctant to move out from Spain. He loves it over there in Spain. He's a real hero there in Seville. But those links continue. And again, that's one we're going to have to watch closely over January to see if that possibly could happen. Ever Banega, of course, the Argentinian, a really, really talented player. Arsenal could choose to try and go big and go for somebody like an Isco if, you got somebody like Ozil or you got Ramsey leaving. Isco would be a perfect replacement. Again, Real Madrid said to be willing to let him go, which is a real surprise because he's one of the stars of their team last season. But Real Madrid said to be willing to let him go. Even the fans have been having a bit of a pop at him in recent times, Isco, and he may be willing to move on. Chelsea was said to have been interested in him, but they've gone quiet on that. Would cost around about £70 million, so it would be a lot of money. But for me, if we're looking to try and win titles in the future, players like Isco is the type of players we should be going for. Adrian Rabiot as well, another midfielder available, would be the perfect replacement for Aaron Ramsey. We've been looking at this guy for a long time. He's a PSG player, of course, 23 still, Rabiot. He's only 23, all right, now I know there's a lot of baggage that comes with him. He's trying to force his way out of PSG at the moment. They're really, really unhappy with him. Their fans are unhappy with him as well. Remember, he had problems with, where he refused to play for France because he said that he should be straight in the team. He does seem like a bit of an arrogant guy, that gives problems, but he's a very, very good player and would be the perfect replacement for Aaron Ramsey. Barcelona said to be the favourites to get hold of him for around about £5 million, which is just a snip because his contract's running out at the end of the season for PSG. But Arsenal, for me, again, should be going in there and trying to get this guy to the Emirates Stadium. If we're really serious, this is where the owner of the club comes into it for me. If he's deadly serious about having the best players, these guys are the best players. Go out there and at least make an attempt to try and bring him in. But wait and see. Gary Cahill. Now, he's been linked with Arsenal. Gary Cahill, of course, a centre-back, plays for Chelsea. We all know that he's available. He is getting old now, 33 years of age. So he's not young. He's not figured under Sarri. Sarri's not really fancied Gary Cahill this season. So Gary Cahill, is he what we need at Arsenal? Well, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, even a loan move, and we've been told that Arsenal will be up for loan moves this month, a loan move for somebody like Gary Cahill, with his experience of playing in the Premier League, is an England international, or was, we could say, is a very, very experienced player. And when I look at our centre-backs at the moment, are any of them better than Cahill? All right, Socrates, I'd say he's been having a good season. Is Mustafi, Koscielny, is they better than Gary Cahill? Mavropanos is a young kid, so we don't even, and he's been injured after time, we don't know what he's going to bring. And of course, Rob Holding's out for the season. We're desperately short in that position. We've seen over the past couple of games, we've had to be filling in with guys like Lichtsteiner, Monreal's had to fill in there. I think it makes sense. I don't know what you guys think. I know when I interviewed DT at the weekend, he was very vocal about us not getting this type of player, but I think it makes sense. If you get a guy like a Gary Cahill in, you give him a contract until the end of the season and you say, listen, if you come in and you perform, we may extend it a year, right? Then I think it's worthwhile doing. We've got to be honest right now. January is a hard month to get deals done. Yes, I know people's going to be Koulibaly, Kostas Manolos, all these sort of guys, they'd be great, yeah? But realistically, are Arsenal going to get any of those deals done during January? Even if they do have the money, say, for instance, Arsenal had the money for a Manolos, who I think would be a very good addition to, in a centre-back position for Arsenal. A Roma going to sell him? In the Champions League team, are they going to sell him in January? Unless you pay an absolute king's ransom, they're not. I know people are going to point to the Van Dijk thing and say, well, Liverpool got Van Dijk in January. Remember, Van Dijk was at Southampton. Yeah? Some of the other players that we're being linked to of that top quality that we need, they're at clubs that are battling it out for Champions Leagues and things like that. They're not going to want to sell. So, listen, Gary Cahill might make sense, but let's see what happens with that one. I think that's one we're going to be hearing about a lot over the month. He's been linked with other clubs as well, of course, but let's see what happens with that. We've also been linked with a player that can play in the fullback position, both wings. Both positions at the back, and that's Max Aarons of Norwich. He's been having a very, very good season. He's only 18, valued at around about £15 million, Max Aarons. Arsenal said to be really interested in him. Spurs are interested in him as well. RB Leipzig over there in Germany as well. Aarons could be on the move, but again, Norwich at the moment are doing really, really well in the Championship. I think they're top of the Championship. Really, looking to try and get up to the Premier League, and they may be reluctant to sell Aarons. But again, this is one that we'll monitor throughout January and see what happens with that one. Now, there's the forward at Lille that everybody's been talking about, and that is Nicolas Pepe, the 23-year-old forward who's been tearing it up in Ligue 1 this season. He's got 12 goals in 20 appearances, and of course, he's got the attention of a lot of clubs. Now, of course, Arsenal short in this area. We all know what happened with Danny Welbeck. You've seen in a lot of games recently that Unai Emery, instead of going with both Aubameyang and Lacazette, he tends to leave one of them on the bench. And I know a lot of fans have been very critical of it. I think a lot of times he's thinking to himself, if I play both of them and they're both having a bad day, I've got nothing else to bring off the bench, really. He's got Eddie Nketiah, but he's a young kid. He's got no other sort of striker to bring off the bench, Now, last season, we could have bought Welbeck off. Earlier before that, we could have bought, Giroud off. And you see the impact it is you can have by having a forward player that can come off the bench. This guy, Pepe, as well, can also play out wide. He scores goals. He creates lots of assists. And I see the reason for Arsenal being really, really interested in him. It's a position that we do need a player in, someone who can play right across that front three. That is why Danny Welbeck being out has been such a big, big miss for Arsenal. More than a lot of people thought it would be. The problem with this Pepe guy is that Lille know that, he's hot property at the moment. He's only young, 23 years of age. And Lille apparently are demanding up to £72 million for him. This is the thing now. The market is super inflated. If teams know if they've got a quality player, you better have some of this or forget it. And Pepe falls into that category. Will Arsenal make a move for him in January, or will it be one of those moves that's been in the summer? I think Pepe has been interviewed recently, and he said he preferred to move in the summer. But listen, money makes things happen. We got pierre-emerick Aubameyang, remember, last year in January. So big deals like this are possible sometimes if the player is willing to go. But it looks like Pepe will be willing, to stay until the summer. So let's keep an eye and see what happens with that one. Now, the final one I'm going to just mention, Christian Pavon of Boca Juniors. We were looking at him last summer. We saw him in the World Cup. Very good player. Can play on the wings. Again, will cost a lot of money. As with all these South American players, the big clubs in Spain look like they're looking at him first. Real Madrid's, your Atleticos, Barcelona. Again with Arsenal, are they willing to go out there and make a deal like this happen? Pavon would be perfect again for Arsenal. We need wingers of top quality. That's what we're lacking at the moment. But it's over to you, Stan Kroenke. Are you willing to get the money out and make some of these deals happen? This is what we're going to find out this month. We're going to be able to see the intent of Arsenal. Because we've got for instance, for me, at the moment, we've got a defensive crisis. We have to bring in a defender this month, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. So, listen, that's just some of the players that we've been linked with today It's the 1st of January. We're going to be with you every single day of January, Monday to Sunday. I'm bringing you Transfer Daily, so make sure you check us out each and every day. Don't forget to subscribe to AFTV if you want to make sure you get all the updates straight away. But we'll be here, and we're also going to be doing some evening programs as well, where we'll be taking a look at all the transfers in general as well. So look out for that one as well. Those programs should be starting later on this week. So big game today against Fulham. Arsenal really need to win that game to get back on track. And then it's the FA Cup at the weekend. But Arsenal hasn't been the greatest of Christmas for Arsenal on the pitch. Time to get back on track. And let's bring in a couple of players this January and get the fans excited again. Let's give the manager, Unai Emery, what he needs to make this team great again.